All right. You are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium when today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 New Orleans Saints. And why are the New Orleans Saints 0-16? Because they suck. They've been around since 1967, only been in one Super Bowl. They won it, but come on, man. One Super Bowl in almost 60 years, man. You suck. Man, he's cracking me up all the time. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Everybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this once again. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away. Throw it in the chat box. Usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free and fire away. But Buzz also, seriously, I mean, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free. Fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the very top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you're subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live, or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Maybe if you give this video a thumbs up or share it, that would be freaking awesome. And then finally, also, just a little ways down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one's a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The one underneath it, I'm an old-time fart. I can't stand change. I'm one of them old-time guys. I like things just the way they are. You know, I'm one of them, get off my lawn kind of old farts, right? It's a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter to me, and it'll always be Twitter to me. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants you to call it, that's on you, bro. I'm not calling it that. I'm calling it Twitter because it's Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. That's an absolute promise. I try to put Giants-related stuff in my Twitter account every day. And then the link just on top takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. It's doing simply marvelous, might I add. We have over 8,100 members in the group. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, and if I have internet access, I'm putting stuff in this group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in the group, but the members post stuff in the group as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in this group every day. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You won't be dissatisfied. I promise. All right, roll that stuff, said and done and away with. Well, I'll tell you what, I thought things were going to start simmering down on the old free agency front. Well, guess I was wrong. Huh? Well, more than that in a little bit, but this is a long article. Let me tell you what. This is talks about, whoops, not that one. There we go. How the New York Giants learn about NFL draft quarterback prospects during their private workouts. This is a long article. Holy cow. I mean, I'll try to, maybe give some of the nuts and bolts of it. But this baby's got some length to it here. All right. Kind of just gives you a little brief breakdown on how I guess Shane and Dable been learning about, some of the NFL, the draft prospects, the quarterback draft prospects during their private workouts. So this is from The Athletic. It said the Giants general manager Joe Schoen and Brian Dable have participated in the intensive process of scouting top quarterbacks in an NFL draft class before. Shane as an assistant general manager and Dable as an offensive coordinator were with the Bills in 2018 when the team closely examined the top quarterback prospects before taking Josh Allen with the number 7 overall pick. Shane and Dable have scouted the quarterback in their first 2 drafts with the Giants, but this year has been a little bit different. Holding the number 6 overall pick in the draft loaded with top quarterback talent, the Giants have spent extensive time evaluating the position. One of the most critical aspects of the pre-draft prospects are the private workouts when teams and executives and coaches to a prospect's college take for dinner, meetings, and a workout. The Giants reportedly kicked off that process with Michigan quarterback J.J. McCarthy on Sunday, while a workout with Drake May is also reportedly scheduled. So what exactly takes place during a workout, and why are they so important? Oh, these are very important. Actually, one-on-one, with a guy, and actually sitting down, maybe he's going over some film or telling you what's going on, what's going through his mind as he's stepping up to the line of scrimmage, looking out over the defense, explaining what the play is going to be or what his checks are. They're all, that is freaking huge. Absolutely huge. Bills general manager Brandon Beane explained to The Athletic the roles Shane and Dable played during Buffalo's quarterback search in 2018. That history should provide some insight into the Giants' current process. Beane was going through his first draft cycle as a general manager, and Sean McDermott was a second-year head coach with a defensive background in 2018. So when Dable was hired as the Bills' offensive coordinator in mid-January, he immediately took a leading role in the quarterback scouting process. And let me tell you what, I think with Josh Allen, I think he hit it out of the park. Dable was comfortable because obviously it's not forgetting 2017, he was the quarterback coach, I think, quarterback coach or offensive coordinator with Alabama, right? So as he closely evaluated quarterbacks early in his career as an offensive coordinator and position coach. He says, I love evaluating quarterbacks, Dable said at the NFL owners meeting last week. I love meeting with the quarterback. It's an awesome position to work with, and it's a really fun position to evaluate. Beane and Shane went on the road during the 2017 season to scout the top quarterback prospects in person. Shane repeated that process last fall as he watched the top 6 quarterback prospects in this class live. The importance of the on-field scouting is paramount, but Shane has emphasized the value of the pre-draft interaction with quarterbacks. Oh, my goodness, that is huge. Shane said, it's one thing to do the work in the fall and see a guy play, but I think the other half is equally as important, Shane said last week. Being around the player, how smart are they? Can they process information? Can they handle the market we're in, which is huge? I mean, the New York market can eat some people up. I mean, if you're a moron like a Darius Toney, right, and you can't handle, some bad press or whatever like that, you're an absolute total moron like he is. It's not the place for you. Can they handle a market when there are a lot of unknowns? How are they going to face adversity? How are they going to react? It's not just what you see on the film. Now, the one thing is, I mean, sometimes, sometimes it's like it was almost more valuable having someone like Daniel Jones, okay, than somebody who comes from Alabama, right? I mean, there's adversity at Alabama, but 99% of the time you're winning, right? Okay. You got number one wide receiver. You got first round wide receivers to your right, to your left, right? You got offensive linemen who going in the first round. You win. You're playing Appalachian State. You win a 712-0. Don't get me wrong. They play tough games and all that stuff, but the thing is with Daniel Jones is right. He doesn't have NFL caliber players he's playing with. He's usually playing from behind. He's maybe usually losing this, that, and the other thing. His team's record's probably not going to be very good. He's got guys dropping balls left and right on roll, so he's always in adversity, right? So you see how he handles it. Sometimes, with these quarterbacks, like with J.J. McCarthy, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, hey, the game against Alabama, so he's had obviously some adverse, but I mean, he was 27-1, which is one respect is really good because that's all he does is win, right? He's a winner. But in also some respects too, it's kind of like, how much adversity has he had? Not as much as what Daniel Jones did at Duke, right? For the Bills in 2018, the pre-draft quarterback scouting kicked off with meetings at the Senior Bowl and Combine before ramping up with the private workouts and visits at the team's facility. It was important for Bean to establish a level playing field in the evaluation since the quarterback prospects had vastly different college experiences. Oh, yeah. Allen? Oh, yeah. Quite different. Allen played for Wyoming, team in the Mountain West Conference, while number one pick Baker Mayfield won the Heisman Trophy playing for Oklahoma. That made the college football playoffs. Quite a bit different. And we can see how the team, the guy from Wyoming, right, wound up being the better quarterback, right? Dable came up with tests for each quarterback that included a few basic formation, motions, defensive fronts, run concepts, and pass concepts, as detailed by The Athletic in 2019. The tests were sent to the quarterbacks before the workouts to get a baseline for their football knowledge and to assess their ability to retain information. I said, this is a long. Right. Brian connected with them all to teach them a few things over the phone, tell them what he was sending, put some demands on them to see what their habits are. Being said in 2022 interviews, are they going to get back to him? Are they going to tell him that they got the package that he sent? All that stuff. The Bills sent the same contingent to each of the quarterback workouts. Bean, McDermott, Shane, Dable, quarterbacks coach David Culley, and the owners. Wow, nice. Giants co-owner John Manners said last week he's not planning to travel for any quarterback workouts, but noted that if it gets to the point where Shane and Dable are starting to zero in on somebody, I might at some point want to spend some time with them. Shane coordinated the logistics of the 2018 workouts, connecting the quarterbacks with Dable, but the Bills left some aspects of their visit to the prospects, such as making a dinner reservation for the group that night before the workout to test their maturity, which is huge. I mean, that's huge. Because let's not forget, this has been pointed out time and time before, right? Sometimes they bring somebody in, right? Not to see, this is the guy. Sometimes they bring somebody in to check his name off the list. Nope. Next, right? So just because they're bringing people in does not mean there's a home. There's the guy. They brought him in. Come on. They're drafting him. Nope. Okay. And that's why these one-on-ones, as I'm saying, I mean, hey, make a dinner reservation, right? So when they get when they get in and they're and it's something as small as that is freaking huge. Because if they come in and did you make the dinner reservation? Oh yeah, by the time I called, they were busy. I mean, they were full. I said, we told you 2 weeks ago. You said, yeah, well, I called last night. Yeah, just 2 minutes before they were closing, they said they were booked for tonight. Yes, maybe we can go to McDonald's or something. Maybe grab a couple burgers. Got Shamrock Shakes around. I heard they're pretty good. Maybe we can go to Mickey D's, maybe Chuck E. Cheese. So that is freaking huge. When they call them, right? Or they text them or whatever, we're going to have 7 people going to such and such, out for dinner, right? Here's the phone number, set up reservations. If the person does it just like that, if that's the first thing that gets done, that's 100, right? they start pushing it off. They text them back. What was the number? I couldn't get this. How many people are going? Are you going? Am I going? What? I mean, we got a problem. Okay, maturity. That's something you need. That's huge. Okay, something as simple as that. Shane also said a lot of things, and you would be just so surprised, right? How, like if they're going after anybody, but a quarterback, right? Somebody's supposed to be the face of the franchise, run the team, and all this stuff, right? He was saying something like, how does he treat the people in the cafeteria, the workers of the cafeteria? Like if he's walking up, right? He's got his tray there, a couple plates, and he wants some food. How does he talk to him? Does he talk down to him like he's Jesus or something like that? Yeah, right there, baby. Come on, throw some food on. Come on, let's go. Come on. I know you're only making $10 an hour. But come on, let's speak. I ain't got it all day. I'm the greatest quarterback of all time. Give me some food. I'm hungry. Come on. You know what I mean? Does he talk like that to him? Or is it, oh, yes, can I have one of those, please? Yes, thank you so much. Is that how or does he treat him like that? Something like you overlook it, but that's huge. That's huge. All kinds of things. I mean, obviously, it wasn't like this 60, 70 years ago when they were drafting quarterbacks in 1950 and 60, whatever. But nowadays, everything is huge. All right. It gives us a chance to see them in various settings, at dinner, in a boardroom, and on the field, being said. You get to meet the individual and see how they handle things, their leadership abilities, their communication style, Dable said last week. Dable's tests continued the day of the workout. While we all sat in the room, he taught them more stuff, being said. Then he gave them some different tests. We literally gave them the same test to see how quickly they responded. Shoot, I was learning some of his offense. Although fans gawk at the clips of 70-yard bombs posted on social media, who the cares about that? Who gives a rat's? I mean, I seen with some posts. And I don't even remember who this was. This was probably like 4 or 5 years or so ago. Somewhere, I guess it was on. It might have been YouTube videos or something like that. It was some type of a. I guess it was a quarterback. I guess maybe he finished college or something like that. Maybe he was looking to enter the draft or something along those lines. But what he did was, obviously the goalposts are on the end line, right? He kneeled down, this guy, and I don't remember who it was. I think he was on the 50-yard line. He kneeled down, so he's kneeling at the 50-yard line. I mean, this is freaking crazy, right? Took a football, and he threw the football on his knees. 60 yards. And he hit one of the uprights from 60 yards out. I mean, I tell you what, that takes some talent. Let me tell you what. But you know what that means as far as being an NFL quarterback prospect? You know what that means? Absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing. So what? So you can kneel down and throw a ball in it. So what? So I mean, the people are showing these different clips, like, look what I can do. What the hell's that got to do with calling signals and having somebody about a trillionth of a second away from ripping your freaking head off, and you got to process, and you got to, worry about 4 or 5 receivers out. What has that got to do with it? I mean, well, let's see here. Although it gawks at 70-yard bombs posted on social media, which means absolutely nothing. The utility of pro day workouts for quarterbacks is limited. The quarterback and his trainer carefully script the throws and rehearse the workout many times before unveiling the routine for the NFL evaluators and coaches. It's like a musical, being said. Dable's private workouts were far more challenging. He didn't give them any insight on what throws are next. Now give me a 7-step drop. Now we're going to do a sprint right, being said. when you go to the pro days, everything is scripted. This they couldn't prepare. When it came to the Bills, they couldn't prepare for it. Right? There was no scripting. The Bills knew they needed to draft a quarterback in 2018, but a surprisingly successful 2017 season left them picking 21st. Being packaged the 21st pick and veteran offensive tackle Cody Glenn to move up to number 12 in a trade with the Cincinnati Bengals on March 12th. As Buffalo's brass was at Allen's workout on March 17th, the New York Jets traded up for the 6th pick, from the 6th to the pick number 3. And for the Jets to go from 6 to 3 cost them 3 second-round picks, cost them pick 6 and 3 second-round picks. So if you start thinking the Giants should just trade up to like number 2 and they'll give up pick 6 and then maybe a 7th round. No. They got to give up like 3 to just go from 6, quite possibly from 6 to 3 is going to cost them pick 6 and 3 second-round picks. That's 4 high-quality players that could be starting in your lineup just to move up 3 spots. That's a lot of real estate to give up. It was obvious the Jets moved up for a quarterback, but Beane didn't allow that to impact Buffalo's timeline of evaluating quarterbacks. The Bills traded up from 12 when Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the clock with the 7th pick. Shane has carried that lesson in patience to the Giants. He has said repeatedly that it's important to spend as much time as possible with the quarterback prospects before potentially trading up for one. If Shane trades up, it wouldn't be a surprise if he waits until draft night. Well, the thing is that, the Bills conducted a 17-hour meeting before the draft with the organization's top brass to set their plan. 17-hour meeting. Are you kidding me? So they got there like 7 o'clock in the morning. And what the hell would that be? By midnight, the meeting was over. 17 hours. Holy cow. That's a long day. A similar marathon session is likely in store for the Giants in the coming weeks. I mean, and the thing is, like the thing is with the Giants is that if they have, I'd be rather shocked if there was like McCarthy and May and Daniels and Caleb Williams and like Dable's like looked at all 4 of them. Shane and Dable like looked at all 4 of them like, tell you what, all 4 of them can take us to the Super Bowl. Let's go, baby. I highly see that doubt. They can pretty much cross off Caleb Williams, right? So that brings you down to Daniels, May, and McCarthy. What kind of feelings Shane and Dable kind of getting about those 3? They might just say, Dante, I really think Daniels is the only one that might be able to take us to the promised land. Yeah, so there's unless he can trade up to number 2, which is, and once again, it's just absolutely just be rather crazy. I don't even know if the Commanders would even entertain a trade because they need a quarterback, So a lot of it's kind of like, let's see who falls. If somebody falls to number 3, well, let's see what, if we're totally in love with somebody, right? If we're totally in love with Daniels, if he falls to number 3, maybe we'll pick up the phone. Maybe we can, or they make the pre-call already to the Patriots. It's like, if our guy falls to number 3, would you entertain a trade with us? And if they say no, well, okay, well, thank you very much. If they say yeah, it takes 2 to tango. You set up the trade. What draft picks you're going to give them and all that stuff and everything's copacetic, right? If Daniels falls to number 3, maybe they pick the phone up, call the Patriots, say, well, our guy's there. Would you want to make the trade or something like that? And they say, yeah, they make the trade. The Giants jump up to number 3, get their quarterback. But there's got to be somebody there that they fall in love with. That's why they want to do it. They would want to do it draft night. Because you don't want to jump up too far if you don't have to. Plus, also, I really have a hard time believing that the Commanders would even trade with them. But also the Giants would have to give up so much to go from 6 to 2. Then I don't even know if they would lose so many good quality players just to it'd be tough. That would be tough, very tough. Let's see here. Beane lauded the work Dable and Shane did in their roles during the 2018 draft process, but they were in support roles then. They were all right. the offensive coordinator and assistant GM wouldn't have taken the heat if Allen was a bust, which is true. Bean would have. The stakes are different now, but the lessons from 2018 have provided a roadmap to this process. I think we all learned something from it being said. It should be something that if they decide they have to go that route, they've got good experience with. Absolutely. I think I cut out some of that, but it's pretty much, it was a pretty long article. But, you know what I mean? So, but Bean's right. I mean, it's like, if they wind up grabbing the wrong guy or whatever, or Allen didn't work out or whatever, Shane and Dable were not the ones going to take the heat. Bean was, and they gave up a lot because they traded up 2 times to get him. Right? They went from 21, whatever the heck it was, to 12, and they went from 12 to 7. They jumped up 2 times to grab the quarterback. So it's not easy to do. But at least for them, obviously, as of right now, it worked out. So good for them. All right. Then we got an NFL executive. Giants' Devin Singletary will produce as much as Saquon. All right. I love to hear it, baby. Good. And honestly, we if what you look at is right what the Eagles paid for Saquon, we could have like basically 3 Devin Singletaries for Saquon. And if you look at this, Devin Singletary's actually averaged more yards per carry than Saquon has. Right? What we got here? Bam. Right? Now this is Devin Singletary. Now, all these years he was with Buffalo, so Shane and Dable are familiar with him, right? There's familiarity here, right? 2019, 20, 21. Shane and Dable were there, okay? So very familiar with him. But we look, 5.1, 4.4, 4.6, 4.6. Last season with Houston was 4.2, okay? But, it's here, so he averaged 4.6 for his career, right? Saquon, right? The trader. He's averaged 4.3. Okay. Now he does have, obviously, he certainly has far more catches. He has 288. Devin Singletary has, what's he's got? 175. But also, to be fair, Saquon's been around since 2018. So Devin Singletary would have played another season. So Devin Singletary would have had probably have over 200. But Saquon still would have more catches. But Saquon, probably I was going to say probably played more snaps than Devin Singletary did. But the one thing also I like, okay, is you'll notice here with Devin Singletary, I'm not sure what happened here in 2019 rookie season, but here, 16, 17, 16. So basically, the last 4 seasons, Devin Singletary's missed 1 game, right? Because we played in 2020, we only played 16 games, but in 17, it was 17 games we played here. He played in 16 of them in 17. So 4 seasons, he's only missed 1 game, last 4. Let's go to Saquon. Last 4 seasons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 8, and what we got? 8 and what is it? 14. So he's missed 20. Saquon's missed 22 games. Okay. So, to be fair, the last game of the season here, the Giants sat all their guys. So Saquon, he didn't play in the final game of the season against the Eagles. So to be fair there, he really didn't miss any time. So I want to be fair, right? But he missed 3 games here. He missed 4 games there, and he missed 14 games there. And also he missed 3 games there. So basically, almost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 out of the last 5 seasons, he's missed games. Right? You go to the last 5 seasons. Okay, he's missed 1, 2, 3, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. He's missed 24 games in the past 5 seasons. He's missed basically a year and a half in the past 5 seasons. So, right. But I said, he has more receptions. Okay, 7.3 yards of reception. What does Singletary have here? 6.7, so Saquon's got him there a little bit, right? But, he averages more yards per carry. He doesn't get injured, knock on wood, right? He's not a bell cow, though, right? He's not somebody, we're going to give Singletary the ball 38 times today and maybe 72 times next week, and we're going to be 40. No, it's not happening. I mean, he's one of those the rotational pieces, right? But he's got certainly has some upside to him. That's for sure. All right. General Manager Joe Schoen made a clear statement about where the New York Giants are headed when they let Xavier McKinney and Saquon Barkley walk in free agency. The message was clear. The Giants would not pay players at non-premium positions. So, given the fact that he left for the division rival Philadelphia Eagles, the departure of Barkley is one that weighed heavy on the Giants fans and even co-owner John Mara. Instead of paying Barkley, the Giants moved in another direction when they signed Devin Singletary. Following the signing, it wasn't long before the stat comparisons hit X. Well, no, sorry. Before the stat comparisons hit Twitter. There you go. Formerly known as Twitter. Nope, to me, it's still known as Twitter. Comparing Singletary and Barkley. Recently, an anonymous NFL executive told The Athletic that he believes Singletary will produce as much as Barkley in 2024. I actually like the stuff they did. The exec said, Saquon is a good back, but you were talking about a running back. Singletary is going to produce as much as Saquon did for them at a fraction of the cost. Yeah, I mean, with the incentives, possibly, I don't know what the incentives are, but what Howie Roseman gave Saquon, as I said, the incentives can be worth over $15.5, almost $16 million a season if they hit the incentives. I said, I don't know if that's winning the Super Bowl. He has to lead the league in rushing, and that I don't know. But he has incentives in there, and the incentives are close to almost bring it up to over $15.5 million, close to almost $16 million. You're going to pay a running back almost $16 million a season. But once again, that's Howie Roseman, overpaying for people, making them look like a big shot. You know what I mean? Right. There's probably like 842 void years added on to the end of Saquon Barkley's contract. So they'll probably might be paying him like for 700 years. You know what I mean? But that, once again, that's Howie Roseman kicking money down the road. But he's a loser. So are the Eagles. But Singletary is going to produce as much as Saquon did for them at a fraction of the cost. As I said, I mean, we could have gotten three Singletaries for the price of one Saquon. I'll take that any day of the week. They may get a better version of Brian Burns in Carolina was getting because there is a human element to it. You don't like where you are playing, you are not having success, it affects you. Singletary had the most carries of his career last season. He comes at a cheaper price point and historically has been much more durable than Barkley. As what I showed you. I said he's missed, I think, one game in his past 4 seasons. I mean, right? Giants should have an improved offensive line than what Barkley had to deal with and during his time in the Giants uniform. So that should facilitate some added production as well. Obviously, Singletary is not the home run threat that Barkley is. However, if he's able to stay healthy, he's not out of realm of possibility that Singletary could, in fact, produce as much as Barkley did while he was with the Giants. You know, I mean, let's say like last season, right? Saquon was a little bit short of 1,000 yards. It was a shame we couldn't quite get him 1,000 yards because I think if we did get him 1,000 yards, he would have got a little bit of a bonus, but is what it is. But as I saw here, Saquon had 247 carries. What did Singletary have last season? 216, and that was the most of his career. Okay, so as you say, he doesn't very rarely. Even when he was with the Bills, because obviously Josh Allen was pretty much the passing game and the running game, right? But you see here, I mean, 177 carries. He had 188 carries when he played in all 17 games. You know what I mean? So he averages 17. It's like 11 carries a game. I mean, that ain't much at all. 11. Okay, last season here, right, with the Texans, though, right? So that's what, 170, 187, 204. Yeah, about 13 carries a game he had. So I mean, each quarter he might get maybe 3 carries on an average, somewhere around there, 3-4 carries maybe. Okay, not a lot. But as I said, I like what the Giants did there, as I said, especially because if you're looking at it, right? I mean, you look at the price comparison. I mean, really. I mean, we signed Singletary for a little over $4 million, and the Eagles signed Saquon for like $13. I mean, Singletary's younger. has a lot more tread left on the tires, doesn't get as injured as much. Once again, he's not maybe as much of a home run hitter as Saquon is, but he has a propensity to stay on the field longer than Saquon, not get injured. And as I said, we could have 3 of them for the price of one Saquon. Not that, as I said, the thing is I don't even know what they signed Simmons for. And we're going to go over this in a little bit, a couple minutes here. But I mean, the amount of money, if you look at it, the amount of money they saved by, and Spot Track's got Simmons a proposed salary of $16.5 million a season. I don't know what the Giants ain't paying those $16.5 million a season. I can tell you that much for Isaiah Simmons. But that's what Spot Track seems to think his salary should be for the upcoming season, $16.5 million. I think that's a bit crazy. But say they signed Simmons for, say, $9 million. Let's see. I don't even know if they even sign up for that much, right? But, right, so you look at it, what would you rather have? Would you rather have Saquon Barkley, or would you rather have Singletary and Isaiah Simmons? I'd rather have Simmons and Singletary. Right, so. All right, and then we got here, should the Giants trade down? Well, it always takes 2 to tango, so, you know what I mean? So it's, you don't want to, they get there, just trade back, pick some good, it takes 2 to tango, and just because somebody might be picking the phone up, talking to the Giants, hey, you want to trade back? Sure, what you going to offer? Well, we'll give you this and this, and it's like, yeah, no, we're good. You sure? Yeah, no, we're good. Okay, all right. It takes 2 to tango. You got to come to an agreement, right? It's not easy, right? Giants hold the 6th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, and it's anyone's guess what they intend to do with it. The most likely scenario sees General Manager Joe Schoen selecting either a top quarterback or a top wide receiver, but that's not necessarily set in stone. They may surprise and take an offensive tackle or defensive player as well. I don't know if there's a defensive player worth taking at number 6, but all right, we'll see. There are also trade options. Former Giants executive Mark Ross believes the team could trade up for a quarterback, but Bleachers report Maurice Moton, said they should actually trade down. Giants need a top-flight wide receiver and a promising young offensive lineman to compensate for Evan Neal's lack of development. They may even consider a tight end as Darren Waller contemplates retirement. In steps Brock Bowers, right? The Jones knee may not be ready for week 1 of the upcoming season, and team owner John Maritol reports he won't stop General Manager Joe Schoen from drafting a quarterback. The Giants don't have much offensively after losing running back Saquon Barkley in free agency. Jones and J.J. McCarthy wouldn't have enough around them if New York traded draft capital for the latter. Also note that Big Blue has 6 draft selections, and it may need more to overhaul the roster. Well, what I look at, we're not overhauling the roster this season. We're overhauling the roster this season, okay, and next season, okay? Let's get this draft class in. Let's get next year's free agency where the Giants should have some money. They should be able to bring in at least one nice little juicy piece next season. And let's look at next year's draft as well, too, right? Let's get those 3. And then we should really be pretty close to, filling in most of the holes, shall we say, okay? A lot of it also has to deal with, too. Let's see, because we don't know with the offensive line. We don't know with Evan Neal. We don't know who's going to, where the pieces are going to fit as far as the offensive line. Is Evan Neal going to, can Brasillo get the best out of Evan Neal? Can Evan Neal stay healthy? And can Evan Neal keep the right tackle position? If so, okay. So then maybe we got Luminor maybe at the right guard, right? We got Runyon at the left guard, right? We got, of course, Michael Schmitz and Andrew Thomas, right? That's our starting 5. And how do they work together? If we start to have some problems or something like that, or whatever, or Evan Neal can't stay healthy or something like that, we might need another guard, or we might, or if we slide a Luminor out there, we might need another guard, something. Yeah. So let's see. Let's get past through this season, and then we can evaluate the offensive line. And next season in free agency and in the draft, we can see what we need, and we can fill in maybe hopefully the final hole or the final piece to the puzzle as far as the offensive line, hopefully. So says the Giants should trade down and pick up picks to bolster their offense rather than chase a rookie quarterback who will need a strong supporting cast. Perhaps on day 2 of the draft, they can take a signal caller to develop behind Jones and Drew Lock. Many won't like that argument, but it's based in reality. The Giants are remarkably thin in terms of game-changing offensive talent and have a greater short-term need at wide receiver than quarterback. A trade down would allow Shane to land a top talent while still adding to their much-needed draft assets. Well, I said, if you look at it here, right, and once again, you just let's take the Minnesota Vikings okay? They got the 2 first-round picks. Now, I don't know if they're going to want to try to trade up to number 6. That I don't know. Because you keep talking, you keep hearing about the top 3 picks are all going to be quarterbacks. And then you figure somebody down here, either Minnesota, Denver, or the Raiders are going to try to trade up and maybe with the Cardinals to maybe grab the 4th quarterback. Who knows? You don't know. But I'm just saying, if the Giants were to trade back from 6, they get their pick is worth 1,600 points. The Vikings is 1,250, and then 23 would be 760. So 760. See, the problem is with the Vikings is they don't have a 2nd-round pick, and I don't think they have a 3rd-round pick. So they couldn't couple nothing up with the Giants. The only thing they could do would be give them maybe a pick for next season, like maybe a 2nd-round pick for next season. So if the Giants were to slide back, say, because this would be, I think, definitely too much. I mean, the Giants would have to give back something in return. Like if the Vikings gave up 760 and 1,250, say that's 2,000, right? The Giants would owe them back about maybe around 300, because when you're jumping up into the top 5 or 6 or whatever like that, there's maybe a little extra premium on there. So the Giants would have to give them back at least probably a 3rd-round pick, I'm thinking. So maybe something like that, right? Maybe something like that, something along those lines. Maybe the Giants get the Vikings 2 first-round picks, right? And then let's see, so they give them the Giants will get say 11 and 23. Okay, the Vikings get pick 6 and pick 70. That way, at least on day 2, the Giants still have a pick. The Giants in the 1st round have number 11 and 23. Get 2 real. I mean, there'll be still some very good wide receivers in the 1st round. I mean, obviously, Adunzie, Neighbors, and Marvin Harrison Jr. are the cream of the crop. Cream of the crop. Yeah, I can talk, right? But there's still some very good wide receivers. If the Giants wanted to go that route, there's still wide receivers. So at number 11, I'm sure they can take. They were talking in that article, that defensive tackle with a freaking catch. One more time for the hearing impaired. A defensive tackle in the top pick 11 or something, or 23, whatever, would be huge. I hope you get where I'm coming from. Now, oh man, there's a couple really good defensive tackles. You put them next to Sexy Dexy. Oh, Kayvon Burns, drafted at Sexy. That front 4, wow. Then put a Karakay behind them, right? McFadden. Then the newly signed, brought back Isaiah Simmons, wherever they're going to put him at, I'm not sure. Dante Banks, right? As I said, pick 23. You can grab yourself another cornerback or something like whatever. That wouldn't be bad. So then in the 2nd round, you can grab your wide receiver. You grab your wide receiver at number 11, maybe at 23. You can grab yourself a defensive tackle, whatever. But so, I mean, there's things, I mean, obviously, as I said, I mean, if you stayed at 6, you're almost 99.5% guaranteed that one of those 3 top wide receivers is going to be there. And if you pick one of them, now you got yourself your dog. You got yourself your wide receiver, your number 1 wide receiver. You cross that off your to-do list, okay? So, I mean, the same thing here. I mean, if you look, like say, pick 6, right? The Raiders pick the Broncos at 1,200. What are the Broncos here? 1,200. Broncos got a 2nd-round pick. Right? Broncos got to pick it all. Let's see here. Denver. Denver have a second round pick? Jeez, they get nothing. How about a third round pick? Did they have another pick in the top? Okay, so they get 210. So the Broncos 1,200 and 210. And it would still come up short. So what they would have to do for them to go, the Broncos would have to trade up for the Giants because it don't look like they got a second round pick here. I don't know what happened to it. But what the Broncos would have to do, the Broncos would give Giants pick, say, 12. They would give them their third round pick. Where to go? That. And I mean, see over here that the picks aren't worth much. Right? I mean, they could give the Giants, I don't know if they can give the Giants their first round pick, their third round pick. Do they have a fourth round pick? Do they have any picks at all? They have like one pick and all. I mean, say this is worth 50 points. Their second, I mean, so what they would have to do, they would have to give the Giants like a conditional maybe third round pick or something like that in next year's draft. So the Giants, if the Giants would go back 6 spots, okay, but the Giants would then have pick number 70 and 76. And then in next year's draft, they might possibly have 2 third-round picks too. And you know, somebody picks 76, you can certainly get somebody a big-time contributor if you make the right pick. But then we know next year's draft they'd have 2 third-round picks. Now let's look at the Raiders, right? The Raiders, they would have to fall back here. What do we got? So that's what, 450. So the Raiders would owe 450. What do the Raiders have here? There you go. Boom, right? The Raiders give pick 13 and this 460 and 1150, 1,610 points. Look with the Giants right here. Booyah! Right? But once again, it takes 2 to tango. Right? The top 4 picks could all be quarterbacks, and by the time number 6 comes around, everything could be null and void. So don't even, but if there's another quarterback there, hey, who knows? Right? So the Giants would fall back to 13, but right, then they would have pick 47 and they'd have 44. Right? Not only would they have what? They'd have 13, they'd have 44, they'd have 47, and they'd have 70. Now we're back to 4 picks in the top 70. Now you can almost fill 4 holes, right? You can grab yourself a real good defensive tackle in the second round, or you can grab a wide receiver. But in the second round, I'm saying if you took the defensive tackle, second round, there's some really good wide receivers. You can also grab yourself a cornerback. You can fill 3 holes in the first 3 picks. So, yeah, don't rule out nothing, okay? Don't rule out anything. All right, but speaking of signing people, right? The Giants signed 2 guys. Now, I feel bad for the guy, but the NCAA, the debacle, right? They screwed over this one individual and really seemed to benefit the Giants. They're talking about fast. Holy cow, Batman. Wow. Giants signed speedy running back Dante Miller after NCAA eligibility debacle. I mean, this is crazy. This is when he was with Columbia. Okay. Dante Miller is either 1 year late or a few weeks early in joining the NFL. Giants agreed to terms Friday with the speedy rookie running back whose chance at getting drafted was robbed by an NCAA eligibility error during his time transferring from the Ivy League stand at Columbia to South Carolina. Miller sat out all last season but hung around the Gamecocks program after it was determined that he mistakenly burned his final year of eligibility, playing sparingly in 2022, as detailed Friday. I mean, this is just, I feel bad for this guy. The slow-moving NCAA did not declare Miller ineligible until long after the deadline to enter the 2023 NFL Draft, after he completed the competed with South Carolina in spring practice. The technicalities continued because Miller should have been in the 2023 draft. He is not eligible in the 2024, draft, which means he has been an unknowing NFL free agent for about a year. Surprise, right? So the Giants signed him. The issues reportedly stemmed from South Carolina thinking he had 2 years of eligibility after one of his Ivy League seasons was canceled by COVID. But he really had 2 years to compete once and a red shirt once. But with limited FBS film available, Miller carried 6 times for 38 yards and played special teams at South Carolina after he rushed for 1,281 yards over 26 games in 3 years at Columbia. He had another to stand out. But here, at South Carolina's Pro Day, Miller ran a 4.27. Are you kidding me? Wow. And put up 28 reps at 225. Holy cow. Very, very impressive. For a running back, 28 reps. Holy cow. That doesn't mean, oh my God, we got the next Barry Sanders here. No, don't mean that. Right? But 4.27 and the 28 reps, both which would have been top marks for running backs if he was at the NFL Combine. Right? The showing gave him a jump start on the overflow of players who will go undrafted later this month and be searching for free agent contracts and tryout opportunities come April 28th. Miller visited with the Giants earlier this week and reportedly had other visits scheduled, but he was intrigued by the chance to come back to the New York area, where Columbia is at, right? The New York area. So, but 4.27. He can participate in the offseason program with the rest of the Giants on April 15th. So we're soon to be the 11th, soon to be the 6th, so in about 9 days, right? He'll be on the Giants, their offseason program. Cool, right? He's got a lot of tread left wear on the tires. He was not used a lot, as we're going to see, okay? Fast, right? Good complimentary piece, 4.27. Give the guy a hole. Holy cow, ain't nobody catching him. Right? You think Saquon had top end speed or whatever. Give this guy a hole. See how far he goes. Let's see here. Miller was abandoned by his mother when he was 2 years old. Jeez, poor freaking guy. It's horrible. And put into the Connecticut foster care system, according to on3.com, until his mother's first cousin gained custody and raised him apart from the siblings under his grandmother's watch. Poor freaking guy. Well, good for him. Freaking good for him, man. All right, so now we got here. This is where he ran in 2019, was when he was with Columbia, okay? You figure he ran, they didn't get a lot of carries here, just 10 carries. The next season, he got more carries, but still not a ton, but in 2019, he ran at left end, right out here. I got the ball running out over here, okay? 4 times, 3.5 yards. I guess would be middle left, right? Yeah, middle right, middle right, middle left, I guess. And then you got left guard, and you got left tackle, and left end. So, he lost a yard there, but middle right ran 3 times for 11 yards. Right guard, he ran 1 time for 4 yards. So he ran over here. So, he only ran 10 times. Only got 2.8 yards a carry, but this is his first season. Second season, because it was canceled by 2020. The COVID, I guess they canceled the program or whatever. He didn't play in 2020, but 2021, he had more carries. 147, okay? So he ran left end, okay, 27 times, 10.3 yards a carry. Left tackle, he ran left, between the tight end and the left tackle, 17 times, 3.9. Left guard, 2.9. Middle left, 5.3. Middle right, 3.2. But you'll notice, right, the ends, right tackle, okay, between the tight end and the right tackle, 5.1. So you notice maybe up the middle, but you'll notice, right, the ends, 10.3, right end, 20 times, 7 yards a carry. So he ran on the outside, okay, which is kind of looks like what this picture is here, right? Running maybe on the outside, right, where there's not a lot of people, okay? Get the dude in space, let him do his thing, right? So he ran 47 times for well over 400 yards. So right? Like 9 yards a carry, 8-9 yards a carry running wide. Okay. So then you also hear, what do we got here? 2022. Now, I believe this was with South Carolina. Yeah, he didn't run too much, but he ran the ball 6 times to 38 yards, averaged 6.3 yards a carry. Okay. Ran one time left end, once again, left end, 23 yards. Right end, 4 yards a carry. Okay. So he's not maybe the greatest up the middle. Okay. But you get him outside, right? He can do some damage for you. Maybe or maybe dump it off to him, swinging out of the backfield or whatever, right? Let him work in some space and stuff like that and see what he can do. But he's fast, very, very fast. I'm not saying, we got the next Barry Sanders, Emmitt Smith, Walter Payton here or nothing, but hey, bring him in. We certainly could use some competition, right, at the running back position. The guy's got a lot of tread left on the tires, and he's freaking fast. Apparently really strong too. So, and we brought him in. He ain't costing the Giants $32 million a year. I mean, I'm sure he's on probably a minimum, right? So, brought him in. Let's see what he can do, right? And then finally, man, so happy here. Right? I get rid of some of these. Bam, there we go. Big board. All right. Linebacker Isaiah Simmons coming back, returning to the New York Giants. Cool. Gotta love it. Now, the thing was, I'm just kind of like, I wonder why it lasted so long and all and everything. But one of the things was, it was kind of, obviously when you have a new defensive coordinator coming in, right? The thing is that, Shane's going, what do you think about Simmons? Can you use, because it's not like Simmons. Okay, he's an edge rusher. Okay, all right, he's or Simmons. Nope, he's a cornerback. Or nope, he's a free safety. Or he's it's like Simmons. It's like he's he's kind of no, he can go. I'm not sure what he is. So it's like, so Shane, Simmons, it goes to Bowen. It's like, what do you think? What do you think about Isaiah Simmons? And it's up to Bowen. It's kind of like, pretty much it's like, I can use him, And then, of course, then Shane, takes out the piece of paper and the pad, flips, okay, says, all right, yeah, it's the pencil, all right. Right, but, he wants X a million per year. Okay. All right. So we'll put down X million dollars per year. That's what he wants right here. I'm going to circle that. What percentage of plays is he going to play? And if Bone goes, I got him maybe 25% of the time. It's like, okay, Shane just takes it and cross. I'm just, all right, we can forget about Isaiah Simmons. And I'm not paying the guy, whatever, 6, 7, 8 million, whatever. I don't know. We're going to find out. But I'm not paying him that much to only play 25% of the snaps. Right? It's can you use the guy? Can he be on? Is he going to be on the field a lot? Right. So if we look, right, I mean, last season, this is some flexibility here, right? And the dude's a freakish athlete, 6'4", 238. The thing is it's like, he's like a little too light to be like an edge rusher where you can't put him, on the defensive line. It's like maybe too big to be a safety or too slow to be a corner. You're not exactly sure where to put the guy. But, last season on the defensive line, he played 137 snaps. He was in the box 166 snaps. He was a slot corner 65 times. He was the wide corner 8 times. And he was a free safety 2 times. Now, also notice here, kick coverage, kick return, punt coverage, punt return, field goal block. When didn't they use him, right? He did almost everything, right? You look here, what I'm really impressed with. Now, some of his great, some of this he had some issues with some tackling. Okay, he did miss some tackles. Okay, a couple of the games. One game he missed, according to PFF, he missed 3 tackles. Another game he missed 2. So that really hurt some of his grades, right? But overall, all in all, Where are we at? There we go. Yeah, we're at 68.9. But look at his coverage grade, 82.7. I mean, really impressive. So, where is he going to be? That's going to be interesting. Where is he going to be? He's good at rushing the quarterback. Is he going to be a safety? Is he going to be in the box safety? Is he going to, what's he going to be? It's going to be interesting to see where Bowen, because we kind of saw what Wink did with him last year. What's Bowen going to do with him this year? But, as I said, overall, 68.9, very, very impressive. What was he? Right? The first couple of years, the year before 2022, 67.9, right? But you'll see his pass rush, it was a 44.1, but the year before that it was an 83.5. So, he can do good in pass rush. It was his tackling. He missed, his tackling. He had a couple bad games tackling. Missed, like here against Miami. He missed 3 tackles, according to PFF, right? This other game, 24.2 against Washington. He missed 2 tackles. Okay, here, these 3 games here, he missed a tackle each one of those games. And then this game here against Philly, he missed a tackle. So that brought him down to 37. So that really hurt him. His tackling, some of those missed tackle, right? And we've seen him, he has missed a couple tackles, but the dude's a freakish athlete, right? Not exactly sure where Bowen's going to put him. Obviously, probably not going to be just in one spot. Probably move him around, but as we saw, let's see, how many snaps was he on special teams? 224 snaps on special teams. First round pick 8 overall. Right? The guy, they just need to find a home for the guy. As I said right here, Isaiah Simmons, this is Spot Track. They calculated market value. Somehow they figured somebody's going to pay him $16.5 million a season. I find that really hard to believe. The Giants signed him. This is what they figure. 4 years, $66 million. 4 years. Basically $16.5 million a season. I'd be rather shocked if the Giants signed him for $16.5 million a season. Really shocked. I could see him maybe about half of that. 6, 7, maybe 8 or so a season. Right? But I'll have to wait and see. Sooner or later, it's all going to come out. Right, we'll see exactly what he signed for, but I'm so happy, because not only he seemed like he was a decent guy, locker room wise and all that stuff. Didn't cause any kind of a stir or anything like that. Didn't shoot his mouth off like Xavier McKinney did or anything like that. Once again, pick 8 in the draft, fantastic athlete. Let's see if we can get some more use out of him, and hopefully I don't know if they signed him to a 1-year deal, a 2-year deal, who knows? But I'll tell you what, I'm really, really happy that he's back. Now I'll tell you what, let's not forget out here too, right? Once again, let's not forget about this guy here. I kind of doubt it that they're going to bring him back, but Spot Track's got him $11.3 million. Adoree Jackson still is 28. He'll be 29. So we'll have to wait and see. He's still a free agent too. So the Giants still need a cornerback number 2. We'll have to wait and see. Especially, as I said, let's see what happens in the draft. The Giants draft themselves a cornerback, and you can probably pretty much forget about Adoree Jackson. Okay. But if the Giants don't draft a cornerback early, like in the first 3 rounds or so, well, we'll have to wait and see. But if they brought Isaiah Simmons back, maybe they bring Adoree Jackson back. We'll have to wait and see, right? But don't rule that out. But I'll tell you what, I'm very, very, very happy that they brought Isaiah Simmons back. Another really good, outstanding. I'm not saying he's Ray Lewis or Ronnie Lott or he's the next Deion Sanders or something like that, but he's a really good athlete. You could put the freaking dude almost anywhere on the defensive side of the ball. Any guy plays special teams, and he's a really 6'4", 235, 240. That's a nice size. Yeah, it's certain spots. It's a nice size, and he's a great athlete. So, and plus also it's not like we traded away a 3rd round pick for him or something like that. We traded away a 7th round pick, but instead of, trading away a 7th-round pick and then having them and just letting them go. And, we traded them for 1 year and that's it. Now we lost our 7th-round pick. No, so we brought him back. So good. Very, very happy to have him. And as I said, he's still young, right? Even if we sign him for a 1-year deal, if he plays well, if he works well with Bowen's defense and all that and everything, maybe we bring him back for a couple more years. I'm fine with that. But he's another good quality talent added to the defense, right? So now we added Burns, right? We got Kayvon, we got Sexy Dexy, we got Banks, we got a Karake, we just added Isaiah Simmons. We got, Pinnock, right? We don't forget about McFadden. So, maybe in the draft we add another good stud, right? Maybe next season we can add another stud in the draft. Maybe next season we can add another in the free agency or something like that. So we're starting to, the defense is starting to round up. Looking pretty good. And I said, if we can grab ourselves a good defensive tackle in maybe in the second round, first round, unless we trade back or whatever, something like that, and add to that front wall, the defense will really start looking good. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 5 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay of this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.